To the chop shop, I'm retro. Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Claude Ray, Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, but we're broadcasting all over the world. And Jimmy, it's been a great, great weekend of sports. I just don't know where to start, but guess what? But at least for one day, and Jimmy, if you do me a favor and raise up in the screen a little bit, look at yourself, check yourself out, just raise yourself up so you can be up a little bit. But hey, yeah, I want you sitting up because you're sitting high in the saddle today, baby. Look here. But at least for a day, the king was king. At least for a day, LeBron James had himself a heck of a weekend this weekend, y'all. Friday night he played Giannis and he league leading the Bucks. He played against the Bucks, and LeBron had 37 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists in a win. And then yesterday against Kawhi and the Red Hot Clippers, he had 28, 7, and 9, and another win. And Jimmy, I didn't realize that's 11 out of 12 for the Lakers. And hey, man, this NBA is shaping up to be, my boys took a little backslide, but we can talk about that a little later, But we had a great weekend of high school boys basketball. It's a lot. I know. Let me tell you something, Jimmy. Y'all bear with us today. We're going to gloss over this NBA stuff because we got to get to some grassroots and some high school stuff that's really, just really mind-blowing. But, Jimmy, what you got? What you got? You got your mute on, Jimmy. Got your mute on, baby. Look at you.
Yeah. I ain't want y'all hearing Kobe. It was his time of day. But we glossed over the NBA stuff. Of course, there's so much to talk about. But you guys know in the basketball community, the high school regional playoffs regional tournaments took place around the state of Texas, and we know it's going to be an extended amount of time over that. We know we're going to open up the phone lines for you guys later to either share some of your stories of what you saw, or gloat a little bit. You know, eat a little crow a little bit if you want to in front of others, all that. So later on, midway through, we wait till the back nine, we open up the phone line because we got so much we want to give you guys. But then also the glancing over the NBA, of course, the Rockets continue their woes. Lakers are on the uptick. Mention that, and as far as without going into deep, extended details in the standings right now, it's only about 20 games left in the NBA season. Only about 20 games left. Mm-hmm. And you know, you mentioned the one thing we got to mention the Rockets in a sense that it was something after the game that I saw. They played the Orlando Magic yesterday, guys. And Orlando Magic, I mean, just beat the stuffings out of the Rockets. They opened up a fresh can of whoopers. It wasn't a can that was that you ate out of and put it back in. This was a fresh can. And DJ Augustine looked like an all. I mean, remember, he came out of high school in 2006. And he's just running around. It's when they put Austin Rivers pull himself in the game, it's almost like DJ said, oh, yeah, I've been waiting on him.
Barbecue chicken.
I've been waiting on this one right here. But anyway, so now, as it stands, the Houston Rockets are in the 6th seed right now. It's pretty much the Clippers, after their loss to the Lakers yesterday, because that was an opportunity to gain a full 1 game slot on the Lakers. They were 5.5 games back. So if they'd have won it, they would have been 4.5 games back. But now they're 6.5 games back. So now at this point, the Clippers is not worried about catching the Lakers. Which you can say, well, they wasn't at first. That's bull. Because you're playing, you would love to come in first place and be Western Conference champion. That doesn't mean nothing, but psychologically, it lets them know because they had beat the Lakers in head-to-head this season. It was up 2-0. Now it's 2-1. But so Lakers and Clippers, the main thing is they're on the opposite side of the bracket. But for now, let me mind you, the Clippers are only 1 game ahead of the Denver Nuggets. They're still going to be on the opposite side of the brackets. So that's not the issue about 2nd and 3rd. 2nd and 3rd is on the opposite side from 1 and 4. Now here's the deal. The 4th seed, as it stands right now, is the Utah Jazz. They're only 2 games behind the Clippers. Don't you think for a minute that the Utah Jazz, even the Utah Jazz, have been struggling 5-5 in their last 10 games? They're looking at that. You got to pick your poison. You're going to have to be on one side of the bracket with the Clippers or you'll be on the side of the bracket with the Lakers. And the thing is to not be in position to want to play them first, but the Rockets themselves, they are in the 6th seed, which is 1 game out of being in the 7th seed. Half game from being in the 5th seed. But bottom line is, the Rockets are 2 games out from having home court advantage. That's the magic thing with the Rockets. First round, home court advantage. The other stuff may not matter in this and that they play, but you want home court advantage. You know why? Because you get to sleep in your own bed. And you're talking about no matter who they play, think about the amount of teams from the Western that the time zones is different as opposed to the Eastern Conference teams. Think about how many that the time zones are different in the Western Conference. Some of you guys probably hadn't thought about it in a while. Think about that.
What we might be overreacting just a little bit. I know this style that the Rockets playing is polarizing. I saw so many people on Facebook just going crazy talking about it. The other day, James had a quadruple double with 10 turnovers. It's just so. But what I'm seeing now, Jimmy, these last 4 games, I'm just talking about the last 4 games. And I think some people were talking about it the other night. It was just a lack of toughness, a lack of swagger, and a lack of focus. They just did. Let me tell you something. It's some people in the league. It's some people who were talking to me after that Clipper game. And they just said, Robert, these guys who was back in the dressing room with them guys said, man, them guys just didn't show up like this game was this game, this is an important game to them. And I don't know what it is, but I think those 3 things, lack of toughness, lack of swagger, lack of focus, I think they can be corrected. You and even D'Antoni, their own coach, came out and said last night, man, they play soft. When you wait a minute, when you play soft, then shoot bad and play bad. And Jimmy, in this last 4 games, I don't know if you understand, they shooting 29% on jump shot, 29%, all of them in those 4 games. So missing those shots lead to bad defense, bad floor spacing, bad floor. It's just like somebody said, a plethora of things going on with them Rockets. And I'm just trying to see, Jimmy. I don't know. I don't know the mental makeup of these guys. I just couldn't go out there and stank it up like that. Not against and Jimmy, a shout out to Wesley Owundo. He brought a group of Klein Forest kids to the game.
Westfield.
I mean, sorry. Westfield High School. I don't know why I think Klein Forest. Westfield High School to the game. And that was I thought that was a good thing for them. But hey, that's all I gotta say about them Rockets today. Cause guess what? I know we got a little bit more, but Jimmy, we got to talk about that job that Kevin Sampson them put on my boys last night.
Well, I mean, definitely University of Houston are your American Conference champions after yesterday's victory over the Memphis Tigers. Quentin Grimes, he picked the right time to step to create a memory, and hopefully this can go and extend on into the postseason, meaning that he just went off. And I happened to turn the game on and watched it because I was in the office working on the spring icebreaker and could not make it to the game. I knew I wasn't gonna make it to 11 o'clock tip. Wasn't able to go anywhere yesterday. I had that much work to do, and I didn't even make it to the John Lucas Enterprise the All-Star Weekend, which I had on my agenda. I wanted to. Guys, if you can only imagine how much work it is to put together a schedule for nearly 400 teams, and you've never done this in your life of this magnitude, and also which will encompass about 680 something games. 680 something games over a 2.5 day span. This is a lot of work, and the people that know, myself knows there's no big team. The infrastructure is great, but putting together a schedule is something that's really I really take pride in it. It's like making a jigsaw puzzle. Now back to those Cougars, and they were masterful. That it was a tight game. And you were there, but I mean, and man, Quentin Grimes he went and showed some signs of what people had saw in him that propelled him to the status that he attained at the sub-college level. That's what some of the people saw. But the thing is, as we all know, we hadn't saw that every day. We don't get to see that. It's few and far in between of seeing those types of moments from Quentin Grimes in a win.
And you know what's so unique about that, Jimmy? Right before, let me show y'all something about basketball. Jimmy, we applaud Quentin Grimes, but before he went on that run, he wasn't playing that well. Defensively, offensively, he wasn't playing. He was just running up and down the court. And then he went on a spurt in the game and wound up being player of the game. That just shows you the thin line between love and hate. Jimmy, because I'm serious. I had just sent you a text saying, what in the heck is wrong with Quentin Grimes? And then I guess, hey, y'all, I promise you, on cue, soon as I text Jimmy that boy said, bam, 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 bam. I said, wow. You know what? Anytime I see him playing a bad again, I'm going to text Jimmy, and maybe we won't have that problem no more, Jimmy.
And that's the thing. Everybody has a moment. So that could be, remember he was at Kansas in his very first game?
Yes.
I think it's Michigan State as a freshman. Quentin Grimes goes and scores like 24 points. He gets hot from 3-point land, hits about 4 threes. And then at that point, America had been waiting for him to produce on that type of stage again. And he was playing catch up. He started every game for Kansas, but then you never got that. And as a result, as the season progressed, Kansas going through tribulations combined with a lot of the NCAA federal trials that were taking place, and stuff ended up like it was sitting on the shoulders of Graham, like it was his fault. And meanwhile, that coach and Bill Self, and when I see him in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna talk with Bill Self, and I'm gonna talk with a couple of assistant coaches as well, and I'm gonna ask the magic question, which I heard other people have asked them before, but I want them to tell me now, because now the waters have calmed. My question is going to be, if he was that bad, why did y'all continue to start him? So what statement were you sending by continuing to start him? Because that means the expectations from everybody else when he got to the University of Houston was that, okay, if you did this, then you should definitely be able to excel and be magna cum laude here. Now, yesterday, Quentin Grimes was magna cum laude, but I doubt if he's going to make first team all conference. I'm not sure if he's going to make second team all conference. I don't even know if they do that in those conferences, but the fact still remains, that's minute right now. He was balling yesterday. You only remember the last. And as in this case, man, I mean, let's look at the numbers. He came off the bench, but he played starter minutes, 28-minute slot, which was pretty much what he was doing when he was starting. Took 13 shots. He scored 17 points. He had 3 turnovers and only 3 rebounds, which he's normally, is a better rebounder than that. But bottom line, 2 for 5 from 3-point land. The Cougs as a team only attempted 13 threes.
Jimmy, they had bad percentage. Both of them teams shot terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Cougars didn't even, for them to only attempt 13, remember, they missed their first 8. When Quentin Grimes hit his first one, they was 1 for 9 at that point. Yeah. But Fabian White, 18 points, 14 rebounds, no turnovers. Hey. And despite only taking 13 shots in 32 minutes, Fabian White, I'm just so proud that, see, that's the thing I get proud of. Whenever a team from out of town come into Houston, a team of the magnitude of a Memphis, who has multiple McDonald's All-Americans on their recruiting class that came in, and on the staff. How many McDonald's All-Americans they have?
1, 2. It was Precious at McDonald?
Yes, 2. Absolutely.
2.
He was top 5 in the country.
2 then.
Yeah. 2. So multiple.
Yeah.
So you have twice as many as U of H have.
What? Me and Doug was at the game last night, and okay. I said, Doug, I texted him. I said, I just want you to take one look at this McDonald All-American. Memphis got 1 McDonald All-American. That's all I'm gonna say. And I told Doug,
they got 2.
Doug, I said, Doug. Doug said, Rob, I see exactly what you're talking about. Jimmy, let me tell you something. When you're a McDonald All-American, shouldn't you at least play? At least Quentin Grimes, hold on, I'll put it like this. At least Quentin Grimes showed up in 1 game. We got a guy at Memphis ain't showed up in not 1 game. And I'm going to tell you his name. Boogie Ellis from San Diego. Boogie Ellis, and I ain't been a lot.
Huh? Don't say he showed up in not 1 game. Yes, he have.
You go, Mr. Research. Go back and do your research tonight, and you come back tomorrow, and you tell me where he showed up.
Actually, he showed up a couple of weeks ago when they played Tulane. Well, that's a last place team, so there really wasn't no expectation on that. What about Temple? He had about 17 against Temple. That's showing. I'm showing.
As much as you sit here and tear Quentin Grimes' head off, I don't tear the kid's head off like that. But this kid here is just getting on he's just getting on my nerves right now. I'm not gonna tear his head off, but he's really getting on my nerves. That's all I got to say.
Well, I mean, I'm just
Hey,
telling you. I mean,
thank you, Kurt. Hey, Herb, I don't like to use that word because we can't. If we was on the radio, we couldn't use this word. Herb said he hadn't pissed a drop. He hadn't pissed a drop all year.
no, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. So your expectations had long ago shifted for Boogie Cousins. I mean,
Ellis.
Boogie Ellis at Memphis. Expectations wasn't that high.
Jimmy, he'll one star. Jimmy, he'll one star.
The expectation for Quentin Grimes had shifted in the same sentiment.
For you,
These were
it never
McDonald's
shifted for
members.
me. It shifted for you.
Oh man, stop! I'm talking about publicly. Publicly, you might consider it to be the only one on the island that say your sentiment, your public expectation from Quentin Grimes had not shifted at all this year. Yes, it had. People had begun to say, well, you know what? If we can get 10 points out of Quentin Grimes, it's a good night. Think about that.
I knew he had this game in it.
There you go. Bango. You'll say. And of course, speaking of the Cougs, the top 25 poll is out for this week. And Cougars remain at number 22, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, wasn't they 21 last week?
Remember they lost, Jimmy.
That's right. There we go.
But you know what? I just like to say, man, a shout out, and I know we go on and on, but that coaching staff, man, at U of H, at Kellen Sampson, Alvin Brooks, Quantas White, I mean, let me tell you something, man. Those guys, Bilal Badley, those guys are absolutely A1. I'm telling you, man, they're absolutely A1. And I just want to, just shout out to them, man. I see they lost 4 starters last year, y'all. And that man got every time a ball went on the floor, U of H got the ball. I'm going to repeat that. Young people who out on spring break, mamas and daddies. Every time the ball hit the floor, U of H went and got it. Close game. But if other teams follow that, then the game, if Memphis had to follow that model, maybe they would have been the victors yesterday. But shout out to both coaching staff, because guess what? It was like a heavyweight fight, Jimmy. They was going back and forth now. It was going back. That coaching staff in Memphis is pretty good too. So, shout out to these AAC coaches. Their tournament is next week. But special shout out to Kevin Sampson and Jimmy. Shout out to the Harris kid, Chris Harris. He's their lone senior. And Kevin Sampson, after the game, Jimmy, after the game was over, Kevin Sampson came to the had the mic in his hand and called Chris back out on the floor to just talk about his how he came and committed to U of H before it was a building, before they had this complex over there, before the Petita Center, before the new practice facility. That kid committed to them before all of this. So every other recruit came after that. And it was a testament to that young man. He talked about it. And Chris got up there, said a few words, and it just really it really warmed my heart about, I didn't realize, that thought never came in my mind that he was the one of the first guys there. And shout out to Chris Harris. May he have a greater future. What else you got, Jimmy?
There was something else I noticed about that game yesterday after the game was over. Remember, and I look at the box score, and one thing I want to remind you guys, especially now, because now you're going into the second season, and this is the postseason, which is the most important season for in competitive levels alike, whether it be high school, whether it be college, or the NBA. That second season is what's going to dictate the entire. It helps to create legacies, memories, but more important, it dictates the champion. Regular season don't. So here's the thing I noticed. I want you guys. I keep telling you to pay attention. When you go to the box scores, just pay attention to how many players are playing double-digit minutes off the bench in wins and in losses. Because that's very important. Because if it's a 20-point spread, then that can fool you. Because, walk-ons might get in the game and a lot of guys might check. That's different. Senior night might fool you as well. Because on senior night, that means you might start some seniors to jump the ball off, and you might look at it and say, oh, so-and-so started. No. Pay attention to how many players play double-digit minutes off the bench for the championship caliber teams. Memphis had 3 guys off their bench yesterday that played double-digit minutes. So that means they got a rotation of 8, which is very common. That's very, very, that's the average, the mean amongst a lot of rotations. The Cougars played 3 guys off the bench with double-digit minutes. See, so now think about, you start doing numbers. Let's say, for example, there's some kid out there that's playing that went off, and he's off at some Power 5 school, and he's not playing like he wants to, right? Let's say a Quinn Slazinski over at Louisville. Remember him? Westbury Christian, he was a 9th grader. Moved away, played there in 9th and 10th grade. Moved away. He's at Louisville, playing spare part minutes. Let's say if he wanted to come to U of H. So I'm ready to come home. I done did this. I've been there, done that with Louisville. I just want to live my dream, play for a team that won a championship, just see how the championship atmosphere feels. Because I feel like I'm a champion. I'm looking on that team. U of H can use a white kid like me. They have no white kid that's really playing, which they probably could, though, really. I mean, not necessarily him, but that would actually take the warmth around the community, would go to another level if they had a white kid who can really, really ball with the Cougars. But that's another whole topic. Let's say if Quinn Slazinski wanted to come to U of H. It was senior night. How many seniors got honored yesterday, you say, from senior night?
1.
So that means they losing how many players?
1.
This is the first place team in the American Conference losing 1 player. And that player, what you mentioned about Kevin Sampson, you give him and the staff a stripe on their sleeve because of the fact that this kid, they could have kept him in the role that he was in. But it was just psychologically, you wasn't getting maximum. So they inserted him into the starting lineup, try to get more out of him. And he still played the same amount of minutes. But then eventually he started to perform. He started to go after some balls and run a little harder baseline to baseline. I'm watching. And so as a result, you are our starting post because he's a starting post who doesn't stand the ball.
That boy wreaks havoc in there, man. That guy does some things. Chris Harris does some things that don't show up on the scoreboard, man. I'm telling you. I've watched him. See, that's why I like to watch people a whole lot of times, because I see saying he does some things. He's in the right place on defense. He gets his hands on loose balls. He get the tap out. He the king of the tap out. And I'm impressed with him. I know a lot of people were down on him, but I'm impressed with Chris Harris.
And I got another question. Out of them 8 players, how do you familiar with the Memphis roster? Way more familiar than I am with.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thomas, where is he from?
Last from Jimmy. Somewhere, I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know. I forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue.
He's from out of Georgia, Atlanta.
Okay.
So, get to him. So now I have to go and look him up. Don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Now, we know Precious, right?
Out of New York.
Where is he from?
New York.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Lester Quinones. Where is he from?
I think up there too. Because him and Precious cool.
Yeah. East Coast.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Ball.
Memphis.
He's from Memphis.
Played with
Memphis,
Team Thad.
Yeah. Nashville.
No,
right?
He's from Memphis.
And Boogie Ellis is from the West Coast. He's from California.
Yeah.
So that's the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the stigma? Penny gonna bring all his kids. Understand? Got one kid in that starting lineup from the state of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I know him say from Memphis. From Tennessee, ain't but one. From the state. See, sometimes how you fall for narratives. U of A.
But Jimmy, the two you talking about that came off with the 20 points, with the 20 minutes, they are from Memphis.
Harris Lomax.
Harrison Lomax, yes.
Lomax was his point guard at the high school.
At the high school and the junior high school.
And the junior high. That's the little midget.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got two,
midget.
Right?
Yeah.
They came out the bench. So that's 3 players from the entire state of Tennessee.
No. Malcolm Dandridge.
Where Dandridge from?
Memphis. He played on that team too.
So you saying all 3? So Harris is from where?
Harris is from Memphis.
So you got 4 players.
Yeah.
And
then James Wiseman was.
4. No,
but I'm just telling you, you're talking about an overall team. He had 5 of them on his.
I'm talking about what's playing right now.
Uh-huh.
Right now, you got 4 from the state that's playing.
Right.
How many people from the U of A from the state of Texas?
That's playing?
Yeah.
Let's go starting.
Of that 8 that's from the state of Texas.
Fabian White. Chris Harris.
That's 2.
Sasser from Texas.
Sasser's from Texas. That's 3.
Grimes from Texas.
That's 4.
I don't know what other 3. I don't know. Caleb Mills from North Carolina.
The rest of them about that. So that's 4. That's 4.
Yeah.
So I'm saying the stigma. University of Houston. They got punished for years by the community from saying they won't keep kids home. Out of them 4, 3 of those are from Houston, from U of H. So I just went on and said Texas because I wanted to make it sound confined equally from a state versus a state. 3, Fabian White, Quentin Grimes, and Chris Harris are from Houston. We lose Chris Harris, we pick up who? Tremont Mark next year. So it's still going to be 4 unless something happens on that roster locally. Oh, no. 5. Because Cedric Alley is going to play unless he decides to leave.
And Jamal Shead is going to be on the team. He's from Texas.
But I'm talking about, he's from Texas. I was just thinking about the Houston kids.
Oh, you're talking about Houston. Okay.
Yeah. And we got Jamal Shead. So think about how the movement goes. As you win, they want to stay home. Then you build it, they're going to come.
And Jimmy, a lot of these guys like Maurice, the other guy Thomas, those were Tubby's recruits. Okay? And Isaiah Morris, those were Tubby's recruits also. Okay? So I just want to give it some perspective, that's all. But keep going with Houston.
Think about it. How many are going to be on that roster next year?
We don't know.
Next year.
Oh, you talking about Houston? Yeah, Houston. That's gonna be. Hey, it's gonna be interesting.
So then it goes. Because then what happens is, University of Houston, as they keep winning, they become sexier. And then you start thinking, well, in the same likeness that Harris and Dandridge and Lomax and stayed home and playing in Memphis. That's how the movement starts for local kids to remain home.
I wish Boogie had stayed at Duke. That's all I can tell you. What we got next, man?
Let me tell you something. If any way you think for a minute that Boogie Cousins is your version of the Quentin Grimes, the Kansas version of Quentin Grimes at Memphis. If any way, unless you believe that Penny trying to lose on purpose with him, that he got something better, then they will be playing more. He played 32 minutes yesterday.
He ain't got nothing better. I'm trying to tell you.
That means that's on Penny.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying about? They had multiple championship caliber games that took place in the area, in Greater Houston, this past weekend. The Memphis, they weren't the only college in town, but they were in this city. And from what I understand, they were not present at the Berry Center. They were not present at the Campbell Center. I understand, guys, Yeah, they might have had practice and walk through and shoot around. They always do. There's a coach on every staff. If he needs to get something done and it ain't his scout, he'll go make that move and go duck in just to piss on the tree, if nothing else. Now, what happens is because people will remember that. They will remember that. And so my thing is for Memphis to come into Houston and for Fabian White to go 18-14. And for Quentin Grimes to go and have one of his best games of the season, not point wise, but the output per minute, his productivity in the second half when he reeled off like 10 straight, that was one of his most memorable games. That's refreshing for the city of Houston.
And I'll take it a step further. Xavier Wheeler bust they behind. Kendrick Davis beat him twice. I'm just helping your argument.
They mean Memphis.
Beat Memphis twice.
Yeah.
These guards came and played and harnessed their games in Houston. So, you're right. Hey, let me tell you something. All I can do is bring you to the water. You got to drink yourself. That's all. I can't tell you to make no matter get on the plane.
I mean, so now we got, of course, moving on. Hey, guys, did you know? I got a couple. Man, James Madison has fired Luke Rowe.
Yeah.
Luke Rose played and starred there back in the days.
Yeah.
Good guy, been a long time friend, and just couldn't get it done. 9-21 this season. He's not the only coach got fired. There's another coach got fired, I think, over Mike Dunlap.
Yeah, at LMU. Loyola Marymount.
He's gone, right? And it's going to be, trust me, in the next couple of weeks, this is that season, right? When he leads into the Final Four, where coach vacancies come open, and that's what happens. And a lot of times, the Final Four turns into. There used to be, there would be interviews going on, in the back rooms in Atlanta. There were also a lot of coaches now don't like the distractions. They would just fly out and go do their interviews. That way people can't be, because there's so many paparazzis and everybody can follow and be in people's business, and you don't know, you think you're somewhat secluded and you're really not. So that's what's going to happen. This is when those college coaches put together those resumes and try to go and elevate their careers in the collegiate coaching ranks. So now we got what else we missed on this past weekend? That was something happened that just broke this morning. That's what it is. And I haven't had a chance to read it, but I just give you guys the headline.
What's the headline?
24 horse racing professionals is charged in a drug scheme. Drug mean to dope them horses up, like we know it, like we should be shocked.
Yeah. That's
more than 24. And one of them is the trainers include the 3-year-old champion from the Kentucky Derby. Remember now, that this stuff here can be pretty big. And if it goes, and guess what? At the end of the day, people don't care. Now I'm talking about the fans, the owners do. Because if you're an owner that ain't doping at the same magnitude of the next guy, then it matters. Well, you got to up your dope game up then. You need to shoot more up. Increase your MGs, or whatever it is. But that's not, I didn't want to get out. It's not news right now, but that stuff can
That's
really.
been going on, Jimmy. I'm just letting you know it's been going on.
They ain't been getting indicted or getting arrested by the federal government.
Yeah.
That stuff can really, this can really be something in a few months.
Do me a favor, just keep speeding down the same old street. They're going to catch you at some point. Keep on speeding. Keep on running them red lights. They got you.
And so now, of course, we're creeping up on the back. Now, we can't hold it back anymore, guys.
Yeah, let's talk.
And what we got now.
Let's talk about it.
It's time to go this past weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's crank it up. Let's talk some amateur. We're going to get right into it. We got the other stuff out the way.
Yes.
And once again, at the top of the hour, we'll open up the phone lines for you guys to get some of your thoughts. And, of course, I see some stuff on the timeline. Shout out to Rod Wells and it's Jack Yates Lions first and foremost. Get off into them. Jack Yates went down to Huntsville and took care of business, Adam. They won the Class 4A regional championships, 75-46 over China Spring. That win was a bit bittersweet for some Yates fans because of the fact that it halted their consecutive 100-point game output for the Jack Yates Lions. It stopped at 21 games, which is incredible. A lot of people think of and say, well, man, they don't play nobody. A lot of teams in the district play don't play nobody. But they don't zone those districts, guys, for basketball. These alignments are for attendance, and a lot of the districts, they're thinking football first. You best believe that. They're not lumping these teams in the district and saying, well, you know, it's football first. And so some of those same teams, they beat the snot out of the Jack Yates in football. That's a whole other topic, but just understand. So now it's basketball. Why does it matter? Because basketball matters to most of us to a greater extent than baseball or what they're going to do in soccer or volleyball or whatever. Or in football may have it. But 75-46 was the final score. And the thing was, we were expecting to see a Yates and Silsbee. Even though Yates was the favorite, we still was expecting just to see what kind of punch Silsbee would be able to throw at Yates with Braylon Bush, who had been one of those top scorers in the area. He has an offer on the table from McNeese and Longwood, hadn't committed yet, but that should be forthcoming because now the ball has stopped bouncing on his high school career. And if you take that McNeese offer and close the door. I spoke with his father a couple of weeks ago, and the father hinted to me, mentioned that, you know, something about Georgetown. And I remember the last father that was from Southeast Texas, Kenneth Lofton, who called and was mentioning something about Georgetown. Chris Walker was quick to plant some seeds of understanding on how this stuff worked, and quickly the Loftons backed up out of it, even though the father has a son that works for the federal government in Washington, D.C. Still backed out, ended up going to Louisiana Tech. But this Yates school, Silsbee, they lost 75-66 to Waxahachie Life. That's a 4A school right outside of Dallas. And Yates, let me see. I'm looking at the results. Yeah, the Waxahachie Life. That's what it was. And so Yates beat China Spring in the semis, then Yates beat Waxahachie in Life in the championship. So I'm going to stand corrected on that.
Hey, Jimmy, can I just take a break? Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I just want to take a quick break. Hey, y'all, Coach Woods on the line right now. So Coach Woods on the Facebook. Y'all pay attention. Coach Woods is on in the chop shop right now. That's all I wanted to say. Hey, my coach is in the boom boom room right now. Now, Jimmy, you can carry on now.
And we're talking 4A right now, and we're gonna go up 4A to 5A to 6A. So Yates, as expected, wins. And the thing is, here's the thing: Yates would play Fate Family first.
Okay.
First, right?
Who's on Fate Family team?
Oh man, they have a few guys. Remember, that's the team that won it all last year.
That's right. You don't keep up.
You have Jordan Walsh. You have the other young man. You have Isaiah LeBlanc, who trained. So they have a Houston flavor on that team. That's going to be fitting because these young men knew each other coming up from since 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and it's going to be definitely intriguing because this was the matchup that people would have preferred to just see them both play one more preliminary round game and then meet up in the championship, because last year they met in the semifinals. Now here's the deal. Well, I want to get to you guys quickly when we talk about this. The question now, the UIL, they must revisit the way of which teams these pairings are processed. From what I understand, I've spoken with the coaches and spoken with somebody of the UIL as well. I haven't spoken with the UIL person. I actually spoke with them last year about this same issue. Now it came about because we just figured they would just do what's on the table. Normally, you take the first seed, the team with the least losses is your first seed. The team with the most losses is your last seed. And normally they play each other. That's just how it. One plays 4, 2 plays 3. That's basketball brackets.
One-on-one.
One plays 4, and nobody has a problem with that. You know that. You lose the most games, you get the reward of playing the best team, the number 1 seed. Well, guess what? They didn't do it. They don't do it like at the UIL. Here's what they do. And a lot of people, they take the first 2 seeds, right? Take the first 2 seeds. And then, let me reach and get, I'm trying to look for my notes that we have. I'm looking for my notes where I wrote my notes at, guys. I don't want to misquote nobody. I don't want to misquote. Anyway, I'll find it in a second.
Find it, man.
Now, they take the first 2. Let me see. The first seed and the fourth seed. That's what they do. Take the first seed and the 4th seed, and they flip the coin to determine the other team. You guys hold on. Let me go find this thing for y'all. I gotta find it. Here you go, right there. There you go. I know it was on my desk. But here's the desk. From the interview, they take the first and the last seed and flip a coin between the other 2 teams. Look at my notes right here, guys. Think about how this sounds. So that means the first and the last seed ain't gonna play each other. Trust me, Yates fans are not crying because they're playing Fate Family. Honestly, you guys should understand, if there's any game that Yates will feel they want to get vindication from and the rewarding opportunity to redeem themselves is to play Fate Family. So that's not what
that's the team that beat Yates last year?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So, man, they're not mad like, why we got to play them. No. The understanding is, why are y'all doing it? Because on paper, we're not supposed to play them until Saturday. That would make a great Saturday evening, because the championship game for the Class 4A takes place at 7 o'clock on Saturday, right before the 6A championship. That's prime time as it gets. You're talking about that game could help an already projected attendance that would be probably staggering amongst one of the lowest in recent, since they've been at the Alamo Dome. They've been struggling to get butts in the seats. First year they were there, they had bats flying all around the place. It was crazy. I'm like Dracula, bats flying all around the top of things. People, and so people still was there. So if they wasn't scared of those bats, then how the hell you think they're going to be scared of coronavirus?
And you had your hat on, so the bat wasn't he was going to land on your head because you had your hat on.
I had Troy Prady on speed dial. They battling back depending on me. I mean, seriously, you guys may remember that if y'all were there that year. But my thing is, and we're talking about this how the seedings go, UIL. Once again, because it didn't just affect Yates. It didn't just affect, and I say affect them, meaning that if you look at how it's supposed to go, you take the team with the least losses, they'll play the team with the most losses. Then obviously it's only 4 teams we're dealing with. The other 2 play each other. They just flip a coin from home and visit or whatever the hell.
So all right.
Yates had 4 losses this year.
Right.
The team Brandeis from out of the San Antonio area had 3 losses this year. Right? I'm sorry, that's the wrong classification. Argyle had 4 losses this year. Stanford, which is in the suburb of Houston, right off the Beltway 8 by Thurgood Marshall, If you ever wonder where Stafford is, right over there, it's actually probably 2 miles from Thurgood Marshall High School. So Stafford gets the residue that goes into a lot of the talent that goes into Thurgood Marshall. I mean, they might not bust a grape in basketball this year, but guess what they did? They're world class in track, and they went to state in football 2 years in a row. They got athletes over there. So now I mentioned Stafford has lost 9 games. Faith Family lost 13 games. Right? So now, what happens if the teams lost the same amount of games and they take the team with the most wins? That's the biggest better winning percentage. So Argyle would have played Faith Family. Yates would have played Stafford. They can't say, well, they don't want 2 teams from the same city to play each other. That's bullpucky. They can't say that because just 4 years ago, Atascocita played Sam Houston. Ain't they from the same city? Right? That's just one. I can go.
So that's their rule. So that's their rule.
So it also. So here's the thing. They say that they flip a coin, Hatter, to determine the other 2 teams. I talked with a couple of coaches, and you have coaches on there right now. Stephen Woods is on the line in the Chop Shop right now. Shout out to Cynthia Giller up there in D-Town. Check this out. You know they flip coins when they try to decide playoff stuff in the preliminary rounds.
Yeah.
Flip coin for
like
the ball,
flip
coin for this.
Yeah.
Right? And so they normally go to the district headquarters to save time. And your AD would have the integrity and trust on the other AD. They're on the other lines, and they would flip the coin. They would say head or tail, and then the AD would let you know what it is.
So how did they do it this time?
Nobody has seen the UIL flip the coin. Anybody on this line right now that's a high school coach and been involved with this, you tell me, Stephen Woods, did you see the coin flip with Hightower? Because Hightower got affected by the same rules, meaning Lancaster, which they call it Lancaster. Right?
Lancaster.
Out of Dallas. Lost 1 game, 36-1. They're the number 1 seed. They're the favorite to win it all. No doubt. The favorite. Doesn't mean they're going to win it all, but they're the favorite. Now, Mansfield Timberview lost 8 games. For 1 game, 8 games. Hightower and San Antonio Wagner both lost 5 games. So normally you would think
the 2 5s would have played. Yeah.
No, not the UIL. They took the team with the most losses. They took the team with the least losses, which is the most.
It's all right. It's going. Hey.
So now here's what you have. You have Hightower playing Lancaster first.
I want to see that matchup.
And it's no problem. That's what I'm saying. That's not the problem. The problem is how the process is done.
But guess what? Anthony Weston told us the process is terrible. Ain't nothing we can do about it. What can we do about the UIL and their rules? Nothing. So guess what? We just got to be prepared to play. Hey.
And somehow, Robert Carroll, you say it's Hightower versus Lancaster, Yates versus Faith Family, and Duncanville versus Dickinson would break the gate. Well, 2 of those 3 are going to take place.
Yeah.
On the first
day,
Thursday and Friday, respectively.
Right.
Let me tell you something, young fella. Ain't nothing breaking that gate down there. People not running to San Antonio. No. It's just not the atmosphere which they thought the Alamodome would have been. No,
it's not happening.
It doesn't remind you. Normally, when you go in the buildings and you can.
Well, I think he means on Saturday, Jimmy. But
on Saturday,
he mean on Saturday if those guys would play on Saturday for the championships, or I think that's what he meant. It would break the gate then.
It would have helped, but it still wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been It wouldn't have been. They are not going to exceed the 17,000 no matter who would have matched up amongst these teams. Because back then with 2010, they got the record crowd, Jack Yates. That's the most people to ever watch a high school game in the state of Texas. In case you guys didn't know, and Yates holds that record as well.
Hey,
Greg Washington broke a few records around it
hey,
today.
Jimmy, I got another sighting on the Clarence Harris. He done
So
showed
now
up
we
today.
getting to 5A. I'm just getting through
No,
4A.
no. He just showed up messing with me, Jimmy. I ain't said nothing, but he showed up messing with me. Tell
What
me
you say?
we're gonna have a 30-minute overtime because I'm gonna take 30 minutes on a certain player. Man, you wrong for that. But come on, Jimmy. Keep going. Keep going, Jimmy. Keep going, man.
Now we're talking about 4A. I also want to give credit to Stafford.
Yes.
And Stafford is representing the Greater Houston area in Class 4A. They advanced through Region 4. Well, in case you didn't know, the coach at Stafford, the head coach, he was the coach at Lamarck, where Jordan Ivory Curry is. He was that coach 2 years ago.
Okay.
They got rid of him. And look what he did. He went over to Stafford in 4A. Ain't Lamarck in 4A? And went and took a team with lesser talent to the state tournament. David Montano. I tipped my lid to him. I mean, because I spoke with him the other day. I called him and congratulated him on from what he done. He's done it under the radar. It ain't like they're out of town. They're right there. Staff just don't get a lot of it. They just don't. And one thing I like about them is that you know they've been gritting the wins out. And I'm looking on their roster. You know, it's typical for not much size. They got a 6'4" and a couple of 6'4s and a 6'5". The rest of those are, compatible guards. And this Stafford team now, the last time that they went to the state tournament was 10 years ago. They were there that same year that Yates won the 5A championship. Stafford was there. I think they went in I forgot what class they win in. So anyway, give a shout out to them. Now, Class 5A also took place this weekend, the region.
Jimmy, do they televise these games?
The championship is televised.
Only the championship, okay.
And you can watch them streaming online. They stream them all.
Okay, all right.
They stream them.
Okay.
So you can get on your computer and go to the UIL website.
That's right.
I don't know if you have to buy a ticket or whatever. Buy a subscription or whatever. I don't know. But I know they streamed and had been streaming back in the days when Jim Barton, which he still is over all of their a lot of their production. Jim Barton is based out of Southeast Texas. But Walter Yates say 4A region is the weakest in the state. Well, I mean, hell, you could say the same thing for region 4 and 6A or 5A. Yeah, one of them got to be the weakest. Yeah, I mean, in basketball though, that's what I'm saying. That's not the weakest region in baseball. So that's what I'm saying. We got to be careful. This stuff ain't just about basketball. From why they zone and align these teams into certain districts into certain regions. It balances all, and you guys know that. And we don't think highly. No, we don't think highly of that region in basketball. There's not much talent coming. That's the region that goes down to South Texas. I mean, but now let's get back to this 5A stuff. This past weekend in 5A basketball, it was going down. The stage was set because early in the week, last week, we got a chance to witness Hightower and Crosby.
Uh-huh.
That was a test where Bryce Griggs jumped out with 19 points in the first quarter, finished with, I think, 25.
Is that the John Urey game? I call that the John Urey game.
Why you call it the John Urey game?
Because John Urey antagonized Bryce and got that whooping on Crosby.
What did John do to antagonize him?
Oh, he went up to the kid at the U of H game and told the kid, hey, man, you number 2, you going to play number 1 on Tuesday. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So John Urey told Bryce Griggs.
Yes.
That.
Yes.
So now that probably explains why Bryce Griggs was trying to look for him.
Yes. He looked for him. When he dunked and looked up in there, he looked straight for Urey in that little polo shirt he be wearing.
Was that actually Bryce Griggs' first in-game dunk?
First time I've ever seen him dunk in the game. And he tried a couple of times. But guess what? John Urie. That's why I call it the John Urie game. I call it the John Urie game. So keep on.
And so now in that game, of course, the stage was set shortly as that game was concluding, or while or during or after that same night. The other team were playing, Lake Creek was playing for their championship, and they had already ended a few minutes earlier. Then on social media, you had another dose of motivation. There was a senior guard named Pierce Spencer from Lake Creek High School. He's the leading scorer. He's signed with Nicholls State. And he took to social media and posted, I'm paraphrasing that, rankings don't matter when I'm on the court.
Yeah. When they play against me.
So that tweet was taken for either personal, or was taken as business by others. That tweet was some people thought he was talking to maybe Bryce Griggs, or maybe Hightower High School, being number 2 or number 3 in the state, or the team that they had just defeated and eliminated in the playoffs, which was number 11 in the state.
Huddle.
So, Huddle. So we don't know which one. Somebody out there know. I didn't take the time out to go and ask the young fella, because I'm quite sure now he should be, he can come clean and, hey, what did that tweet mean? And that's the thing. So in media, some of you guys in amateur media, that should have been the first question you guys should have went and sought out that young man and asked him, what did he mean? Yeah. Who was he talking to on that tweet?
That's a great point.
You want to get stories. Ask him them questions. We be afraid to ask you got to ask the magic question when you're talking to these people, because there's something, you set them. No, it ain't a setup. Or you let them know before you start taping. Hey, man, we're going to tape, but I got to ask you this. And then somebody might say, no, man, I don't want to go there. Okay, well, we ain't going to go there, but I got to ask you that. Now then proceed. That goes viral. That way now it helps to restore the order of understanding. But anyway, Lake Creek plays Hightower, and just on cue, Hightower jumped out to a 7-0 lead, right? Bryce Griggs was active early on, doing his thing. Only a 5-point game at the end of the first quarter. Then Hightower went up by 11 in the second quarter. Lake Creek closed that thing back down to 3 at halftime. But in that second half, people make adjustments. Hightower comes out. Bryce Griggs, led them back in the double-digit territory. They never looked back from that point on. I'm just speeding balling the game. They won the game. Hightower set the tone for you. Hightower, their personnel. Stephen Woods is a black head coach. I can use African American, all that stuff. I just like eliminating and minimizing the syllables from, if I can. When I'm talking, I'm gonna try to simplify the syllable. So he was a black head coach with a predominantly black team of players. Lake Creek had a white head coach with a predominantly white team of players. Every player on each team was one extreme, one another. The crowds on one side looked like that. It looked like you ever did ice cream? What they call it? Neapolitan. What they call it with the white and the black and the strawberry? You know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Neapolitan.
That's what it Neapolitan. The white one side. That's how it looked in the Campbell Center. But those people were loud. Rick Goffney came and told me during the break, he said, man, I did many games in here, but there's never been a crowd this loud behind me. Now,
and they was getting beat. And they were loud.
They were loud, meaning that loud in unison.
Yeah.
And that's what makes loud. Students sit together, so their cries came in unison. The fans were rooting and embracing their team. Boy, had that been any way, that game would have been closer in the second half. Man, that thing, no telling them people would have,
Hey,
they would have blew the lid up that place.
they was, I'm telling them folks they had a little venom in them now. I'm watching them. They had a little venom in them. They like, let's beat these. Like Sloan said, they're looking a little Jim Crowish over there. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm sitting there saying, wow.
They really wanted to beat Hightower.
Oh, my goodness.
I think they wanted to beat Hightower greater than they wanted to go to state.
Yes. Yes.
Mind you,
Yes.
I really believe
it had that.
They wanted to beat, they were trying, I understand the schools have been open 2 years, that's all. Only 2 years. And Coach Shannon Spencer, he used to be over at New Caney, took in his lumps over there. People were laughing at him. Once again, New Caney would not get any inkling of talent that were going to about New Caney in that Porter area. They would find their way either going over to Cleveland, or they would go on over and end up in Kingwood somewhere. But they never could get talent.
But you know what though? I like about that team. They fight, man. That team didn't lie. Let me tell you something. That team, they made it a game out of it.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Hey, they, like you said, they seem like they played for something bigger than just a basketball game. And then Jimmy, they brought 3 guys with them too, from somewhere. I don't know where they come from. Them 3 refs. I don't know. You know, I'm never a guy. But let me tell you something. That was from
Dallas. That's from DFW up in that area.
After the game, referees, bless y'all little soul. People should not be talking about y'all. When Shadow Creek got that whooping, I know you're going to get to that game next. I ain't heard too many people talk about the refs. When Shadow Creek, when Clarence Harris T got that thumping. So, Jim, I'm going to go and let you have a prelude to that one.
Yeah, and of course, Shadow Creek, of course, played Manor first game. And Shadow Creek, Manor, they were the better team. Shadow Creek, Ramon Walker came out and he was awesome in that game. I mean, he came out, his perimeter stroke, and he had a couple open up. I mean, his perimeter stroke was groovy. And Will Young was active and aggressive. Ramon Walker did his thing. Meanwhile, fans got a chance to see. You saw Jamal Shead, that's the star guard at Manor. A lot of people saw him last year when Manor made it to the regionals and they eliminated Hightower, but he probably wasn't paying attention. Because at that time, he wasn't committed to U of H. So he was like, who's this guard? There was them country boy, them Austin boy. Nobody really took him. Now, this time, people knew about Jamal Shead beforehand, or because of the U of H commitment, or if not, because of his body of work. He came in, and guess what? He did well. The team lost, but he had 32, and he competed all the way to the end. Shadow Creek's had too many weapons for this team. Now,
but you said Shadow Creek had too many weapons for
too many
Manor.
Too many ways that they could beat Manor, and to get out in the lead, and that's the bottom line. Remember, once Manor got in that hole, by the time they close that thing down, then here comes another different guy. Sean Jones had 12 points in that game.
I like Will Young, man.
Will Young had a much better regional championship
I didn't see him
than it was in that game.
Okay.
Will Young did not want much part of Jamal Shead. That was, mind you, I understand they're 2 different grades, but if you think about it like this, use some of these guys as measuring sticks.
But Jim, Jamal, Shead. Did Shead have a chance to win that game at all?
It wasn't close.
It wasn't close. So a lot of those baskets Sheds were getting, it wasn't effective. Did it have any impact on the game? I saw him pulling up from the I mean, but did they have any impact on the game? That's what I'm trying to explain to guys like Alfio and Jeff Johnson. You can hit 28 points, but not one of your 28 points have no impact on the game. Then I call them empty points.
No, not all the time. Not all the time. Here's what you got to look at. It's the term they use, college baskets. And that's what college coaches, when they were sitting there, the college basket. Okay. So if you're doing some things that can transfer over to the next level, as in that game, his future head coach, Kevin Sampson and Kellen Sampson, were right there center court. And during the game, Kellen was kind of, the kid walked by the bench, by press row, and by the table, and Kellen was talking or communicate some words of advice to him, and the kid would go right out and do it, and a little bit of things like that. That you could say, well, now do you expect him? The question is, we talked about U of H earlier. They only lose one player from their team. They only lose one player. So I don't necessarily expect for Jamal Shead to go to U of H and play next year. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, because we didn't expect, Kevin Sampson said it himself, he did not expect Sasser to play this year. Talking about play meaning anything past double-digit minutes in any game. He did not think, he thought, quote unquote, he thought that this kid was going to crack and he would have transferred by the break. This come out of Kevin Sampson's mouth in one of the recent interviews. So, talking about Sasser, that is. So, thing about it is, if Jamal Shead come, an opportunity for him to, if they remember, Chris Walker said it best, and I remind you, from a career Division I coach, Chris Walker, he says, and I've talked, and I never thought about it like that, and I've asked coaches, and a lot of coaches have concurred this sentiment. He said, if at the Division I level in high level basketball, if they redshirt you, that means they want you. If they don't redshirt you, they want you, they're going to hurl you out on the minutes. They want you to get the hell up out of there and free that scholarship up. You see the difference, which the logic? You see? So and now we're talking about so now Shadow Creek ended up playing Hightower in the championship. Shadow Creek and Hightower. And that was the game that was the highly anticipated championship that everybody wanted to see. Everybody wanted to see this game. This is part 3. They both split the season series in district play. This is a neutral site, and how did that one go? To many, of course, Bryce Griggs ended up again. He had 43 points in this win, guys. 43 points for Bryce Griggs and the W. It was a remarkable performance. He opened up and he rose up to the challenge under the bright lights. Not in the greater Houston, not since Kendrick Davis was in the 10th grade, had a sophomore kind of guided the team to the state tournament. Not since Kendrick Davis. He did it in the 10th grade. Ran into Atascocita, and he lost to Atascocita. Nobody was mad at Sam Houston at all, because they weren't expected to beat Atascocita that year with Carson Edwards and Fabian White and all those guys. Guys that are excelling right now. Carson Edwards in the NBA getting a check. Fabian White just had 18 and 14 last night against Memphis, and he still has a year to go in college. That team, Kendrick Davis is the only player from that team that's playing Division I basketball from the Sam Houston team. That's my point. The only. They had a lot of talent. Now, I'm getting twisted now. The two twins was anchoring that Sam Houston team, right? They went to St. Thomas, University of St. Thomas, and they got their college degree. It had a great career. University of St. Thomas was ranked number 1 in the country in Division III a great portion of this season. But that team from Sam Houston, when Kendrick Davis then went to state, I think that team was better than his Hightower team. Meaning that Kendrick Davis definitely had more better ball handlers, and they were tougher. Not every team from the hood is tough, but Sam Houston was tough. They were tough, that year. So my thing is,
people don't understand how hard it is for freshmen to play in college, because people talk about Tremont, they still talking about, like Stacy mentioned, that Kevin Sampson don't know the bloodlines of the Sassers. Kevin Sampson was in practice with this kid every day, and he knows what he put that kid through. And that's why people don't. I had the advantage of going and watching a Kevin Sampson preseason practice, and I'll never forget. What's the kid name? Nate Hinton. Jimmy, you remember I came back and said, "Man, I thought this kid was gonna quit as a freshman." I could not believe if Marcus Sloan dribbled the ball off his stomach, Coach would make a hit and run. If anybody in the whole building did anything, Clinton had to run for it. Thank God Hinton had, what's my boy, play for Marlon Lowe? The point guard.
Oh, Galen Robinson.
Galen Robinson kept coming to him and said, "Man, he did me the same way, man. Just fight it out. I know I made the mistake. He made you run, but keep on fighting. Keep on fighting." Galen Robinson leadership helped this boy. I promise you, I thought that boy was going to quit. The freshman, if a freshman playing for Kevin Sampson has to go through a mental hurdle where he can never give up. That's why these kids play that hard, man. Kevin Sampson put them guys in situations way harder than a basketball game would ever be, because he don't want them to forget. He don't want them to give up on him. I mean, it's unbelievable, and I have to say that. But back to you, Jimmy. We can go back to, because that boom 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 was off the chain. Boom 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 was off. It's some delusion. Let me tell you something, Jimmy. I done learned, just because you've been around basketball a long time and you coach an AAU team and you hold a camera, some people see games different, Jimmy, from the way the game really is. You remember I told you, me, and another guy can sit up there and watch a game. We can sit and watch a game, and this guy would come away with a complete different opinion of a game than I do, or that Jimmy does, or that anybody does. We got a guy on this Facebook feed right now, and I'm gonna let y'all handle him, asking how old Bryce is. He's 16 years old. 16 years old. Jeff Johnson. And that kid y'all put against him last week, the John Jewell, nothing against the kid, but he was no match for this young man. So keep your comments. Hey, y'all handle him. I ain't got time. I got a show to do.
Well, I mean, but he probably really was just asking it with a
no, Jimmy. He talking about how many points somebody had. And I was just telling him about, dude, I was at the game. There were empty points. Then he talking about, well, if we didn't have them 10 turnovers in the first 10 minutes, in the first 5 minutes, Jimmy, if my auntie had a beard, she'd be my uncle. Come on, man. Let's understand the game of basketball is over. Some people are moving on and practicing with their summer team. And guess what? Hightower is over there getting prepared to go to state. So just support that, please. All you Crosby people, y'all wasn't going to win that game. Come on, man. You got your head tore off. Let's go. I'm sorry, Jim.
Absolutely.
You don't constantly come. Jim, you had to read the thread. You had to read him and Alfio. Well, if this is, man, it was no match. Y'all should blame Jeff. You should be calling John Urie and say, John Urie, why did you do that? Come on, man. Don't even go there. I mean, come on, let's keep this thing right. Don't even go there. You can support who you want to. But if you're looking at the game and you're a basketball guy, tell the truth about the game. 28 empty points. Jimmy, what you got? What you got?
No, it wasn't 28.
To me, 20. The games had no bearing. The points had no bearing on the game.
Scored 9 in the first quarter. They were down in the first quarter by double digits.
Those points had no bearing on the game. They was down.
Yeah, come on. That's not.
What, Jimmy? What I said. You look at the game different from me.
Yeah, you making it, but you making it sound like every single point the kids scored didn't have no bearing on the game. That's not true.
Excuse me. I didn't bring up his points. They brought up the damn point.
Yeah, you just said 28.
But he brought up the points on the Facebook feed, Jim.
I'm not talking about he did. I'm talking about
I'm telling you, so you just butted in a conversation, but he brought up the points. I never brought up the points. Because them points didn't matter. He could have had 40 and was going to still lose that game. So that's the point I'm making. So now we can move on.
So understand, in that same breath, does Trae Young points not are they meaning?
I got a question. Okay, I'm finna help you. No. Since you want to, I said move on. I said move on, but I'm finna give you something. Just for you, Jeff Johnson, John Urey, Jimmy Hicks, I'm gonna put you in the boat with them. He scored, in your words, when you scored 29 points, 28 points off 29 shots, what do you tell me about those? And I'm gonna go get some water. Guess what? And I'm gonna go fill my water cup up.
That means it's not a good shooting day. That's what that means offensively. You didn't shoot the ball above par. You know, you're supposed to have more points than field goal attempts. Now, meaning my question to you was, how does that factor in for Trae Young? Because Trae Young scores one of the league's leader in points. One of the most interesting. He's an all-star 2 years in. And Trae Young, a lot of times points that he scored are in meaningless points of the game. But Trae Young, so that's why I said be careful on the extreme of that. Now, bottom line, if that game between Bryce Griggs going against PJ Haggerty, Bryce Griggs, he won that battle as far as outplaying him, which he's supposed to have outplayed him.
Well, why these people talk? Okay, Jimmy, let's move on. Jimmy,
why do people talk about it?
Can we talk about the high top? Excuse me.
If your heart goals is entwined within something,
Jimmy, I got a question.
They're gonna like it.
I got a question. What about the championship game? That game is gone. Them people that put their stuff and folded their stuff up, and the coach probably done washed it and put it in the cage. Give me tell me what happened in the championship game with the championship game to Golden State. How about that?
We just talked about the Shadow Creek game.
I don't remember.
What was you just now?
I don't remember. I was talking to him.
That's what I'm saying. We just talked about that.
Yeah, but I was talking to the Jeff and Alfio on the Facebook feed. Yeah, so we didn't have a conversation about 12 minutes back. So I missed everything that you. So you finished with that game?
Yeah, we just talked about it. We talked about the game as far as Hightower and Shadow Creek, and I mentioned that Bryce came out and scored 43 points. I know you remember me saying that, and in doing so, that was a third time playing. I'm just recapping what I said a while ago.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much in that note, and of course he took 21 shots, and I was waiting for the rest of the lines because there was a lot of. One of the things I noticed at the Campbell Center, and I tell you guys, official books don't always get it right. And proof 2 days in a row.
And why did you do that? Why did you do that, man? You put the man's name up there talking about Houston Chronicle didn't have the scores right.
No, I said the Houston Chronicle gave me the correct ones.
I thought you said it was incorrect.
No.
Okay.
Houston Chronicle guy, I know he was. So I know Jason. And I know when I saw him sitting there, certain guys I know they're gonna keep and they're gonna be unbiased on the stats. So I know his stats were gonna be 99 proof. So I had my chart with me to chart the game. And I saw him sitting there. I said, you keeping everything? He said, pretty much for the most of the players, I'm keeping the team stuff. I said, well, good, I ain't got to do it then. It's just me doing it, you doing it too. I can concentrate on doing my report. Doing the recap of the game, which I had posted on the website that night on RCS Sports.
Who did you have picked to win that game, Jim?
Pick on that game?
Yeah.
I didn't really make a pick on that game. I didn't do picks before that.
Can you?
I didn't. But if either team had won, it wouldn't have been a surprise. If either one of those teams had won, it would not have been a surprise. It just would. What I was thinking in my mind though before that game, it would have needed. Last time they played, Bryce Griggs scored 46 points before this matchup, and the time before then, Bryce scored I think 32. So I was saying, well, Bryce would have needed a 40 or 30, 35 plus for the Hightower to win this game. That's my thought inside. I didn't have time to go and write the preview, but that's what I was thinking inside. Honestly, what I thought, they would need 35 plus from Bryce to beat Shadow Creek, which that's what they got. They got a commanding performance from Bryce Griggs, and in 43 on 21 shots, and he got more guys involved. Getting them involved don't always translate into an assist in the column on the official stat sheet. But if you're watching the game and you saw, he got pretty much everybody involved.
But Jimmy, think about this. You've been around this stuff, and you talk about the coaches and who have the scouts, and you sometimes you get a little entwined in the coaching aspect of it. You as a coach, a guy that hit 46 points on you one time. Then you come back, that same guy hit 43 on you. As a coach, wouldn't you not to talk about, but what would you have, think about, because somebody brought that to my attention. Somebody said, hold up. The same kid 3 weeks ago, how many weeks ago did they play?
Yeah, it's about 3.
He said the same kid 3 weeks ago came back and had 40-some points on you again. Is that kid that good? That was somebody asked me. Is that kid that good?
But understand, if sometimes you can be watching the game and not necessarily paying attention to everything. Everybody's not going to pay attention to everything the other person is paying attention to. In this particular game, I was paying attention. And in my recap, that's on rcsports.com, I posted every defender that guarded Bryce during the course of that game.
Okay.
So people are like, damn, I ain't know he looked at all that. Yes, I pay attention.
See, I just don't know their names. I know their numbers.
But I'm just saying, but people don't realize I thrive off of paying attention to things that normal person ain't paying attention to.
Okay.
That's how I've always been. So that, and then those intangibles can help you understand and answer that question. But a lot of people say, well, damn, why he just doing different? Damn, he tried. They ran 6 defenders, 6 different guys on this kid. They couldn't go to a zone. Shadow Creek had the better athletes. They had the faster athletes. And I'm willing to bet they went and got up a baton and ran an 8x8. Instead of doing a 4x4, run an 8x8 with your 8-man rotation. They had the faster team, the better athletes, the more athletic team. So they ran different guys at him. And what happened is, when it's your day, it's your day. His line was already on from shooting. He already was in a zone. And so one thing about Bryce is different now than you saw him before. Bryce is coming out the gates. Each of the last 3 games have been money games, so to speak, bright lights, motivating games. You started out with PJ Haggerty. That was a money game motivated by pre-existing hype. Go to Lake Creek, Pierce Spencer, a money game with pre-existing hype. Then you get to Shadow Creek. He didn't need no motivation. That was a team that inside it was an opportunity for Bryce to go and install it within himself to say, well, they think that 43, that 46 was luck. I hear them. They thinking that was so. Now let me show them,
Jimmy.
And guess what? Got that in that game. That's when young men like Will Young, he stepped up.
Oh my God, yes.
Stepped up.
Yes.
Understand this was a single digit game. It was a little bit, felt a little bit further than that, but because Hightower was up by 20, Shadow Creek creeped that thing all the way back down. So I don't know what they crept it back down to. Maybe like 6, 5, something like that. In the closing minute, they ran out of time. They started pressuring and changed up their press a little bit and tinkered with it, and they got results from Hightower off that press. Maybe fatigue had set in with Hightower.
Yeah.
Obviously, fatigue had set in with Bryce Griggs early in the game. Yeah. They just was ahead so far. Mm-hmm. You see him, if you were watching, he took some trip, which rightfully so. You earned the right to take a trip off if you wanted to, based on what you was doing already. And what happened? They started to pressure, and they got results, got turnovers, converted them into baskets. The lead started shrinking. Then all of a sudden, you saw Clarence Harris. Oh
my God! In that polo shirt, he sat out. He stood up one time when that press started working. Oh, Harris got up then, but he set his butt right back down very, very soon. But Jim, here's a couple of questions that people asked you, and it was back. Stacy said, Mr. Hicks, are you a believer in Bryce Griggs yet?
I've been a believer in the Bryce Griggs, but what the thing is you guys don't understand is that I refuse to go purposely, to go and continue into the process of anointing these when they're younger before they reach certain plateaus. If you put it out there for enough and they want it, they're going to go and they're going to get it. Then it gets the time, like right now. Think about a week ago. Let's think 2 weeks ago. Let's think before the Shadow Creek game. So you mean to tell me you think Bryce Griggs has just gotten that much better in a 21-day span? Do you honestly believe he's gotten that much better than he was 21 days ago?
No,
hell no.
He's been that good.
No. That ain't the question. That ain't the question. See, the question is, do you think he's gotten that much better?
No, he said, are you just a believer in him yet? That's the question.
I've been a believer in him. If I wasn't a believer in him, I'm going to tell you why I was a believer in him. I wouldn't have been fighting my ass off a year ago to try to get him in Nike camp, knowing he played for Adidas team. Getting in with John Stovall and him, getting my budget cut out because I'm fighting for this kid. And there's other people around him that were fighting against him. So I'm not going to get out in the public because I'm going to stand in with the parent of every game and they'll see, oh, he just fighting for him because he's down with the mama. Or he down with the dad. So I purposely don't go sit with them. I purposely don't go do it because I'm the guy that's busting my ass to fight for him. Because I know nobody ain't. The fight don't have to be in social media. I want to send retweets and videos and things. That's why I tell you, ask the people in power who's fighting for your kids. And then you'll get the answers. I guarantee you. But y'all don't want to do that.
Well, I got a question.
You want to get fooled by people. I reward those because don't you think it's like a college? We mentioned Boogie Ellis earlier. When I gave you the magic question. The magic question was, do you honestly think Penny Hardaway trying to lose on purpose by starting Boogie Ellis? Hell no. He ain't got nothing better. So do you think that I'm going to walk my ass around the country and I go in all these gyms as much as I like to grandstand among people from California and New York and Chicago and Atlanta and go and pop my collar? If you never see me out in those cities and those events, you know how to.
That's why I'm laughing. Keep talking.
You think I don't want to promote nothing from my area? I'm perfectly saying, I don't want nothing from my area. You know what that means? That means I'm doomed. You got to pick the right one at the right time. And then once it gets validated, then people can't go because if you ever try to shove a kid down somebody's throat, it don't work. You can't come tell me about no kid right now in the 8th grade or 7th grade or 6th grade. He the best thing in society. I don't want to hear that. I don't care how many times you calling me. There's ways you can do it. Man, you slipping, man. You missing out. You can't antagonize the powers with a kid. You can't do it like that. You got to finesse them. You finesse them. That's why I buy the ball. They come in. Get them, I buy them a little bit. Now they can hear me a little bit when they get inebriated. You got certain ways. You got to, it's ways. You see, that's the thing. There's no blueprint in this stuff. And everybody really don't understand how the politicking game. I'm no different than a lobbyist in Congress on Capitol Hill. I'm a lobbyist for the area.
But lobbyists get paid. Lobbyists get paid now?
I get paid too.
Okay.
So let's not get this twisted. I'm not doing this for your kids.
Okay, explain that.
I'm not doing it for your kids. And people don't like that, but people do respect that. They say, you know what, at least Hicks had the courage to tell us face to face, he ain't in this stuff for our kids. No, I ain't.
Hey.
But guess what I do? If your kid is shining, you're trying to get somewhere, and guess what? I got ink for him. I'm going to go and I'm going to fight for him. If he's a product, because there's been so many kids. You understand how it hurts us? It's like crying wolf. Houston, I'm still getting damaged from all that listening to y'all, from helping them promote Jayla D. And look what happened. He was number 1 in the country.
Wow.
Wow. We ain't tell you to go and, oh, so what you would say? Don't say nothing? Don't say nothing. He's doing all this and doing all that. Look at Quentin Grimes. Well, man, Quentin Grimes, we knew he wasn't that good. We know what hell. If you know what, he was MVP of the FIBA games for your USA. He beat out Javonte Smart in Adidas Nations. Javonte Smart did you not see him on that bench behind Quentin Grimes?
Yeah.
Javonte Smart. So I mean, he did something. Maybe not when we was looking. So that means, but you feel the heat. So that means you got to anoint, you can't go anoint one. So that means in 2021, that class, we don't have a single player from that class on the top shelf that has ever played on a sneaker circuit 17U game. Ever. So how can you anoint him from 2021 from the area? You follow me? Bryce Griggs hadn't played 2021, he's a 2022, has not played a sneaker game as well on the 17 on the circuit. However, so that means you got to wait till you get certain accolades obtained at the scholastic level, meaning he goes to Thanksgiving hoop else, and he goes and outplays Keontae George. That's great. That's one. Then you go and beat Shadow Creek beat him, so that's a notch back. But guess what? He come back, he erases that, and he won up Shadow Creek in the process of getting better and scoring 40s in the championship game to go to state on a big stage. Understand you? Bryce Griggs did not routinely play in coliseums every night in and night out. He played in high school gyms most of the time. You follow me? Most of his games either in your high school gym or my high school gym. So it's not easy to come out into a Campbell Center where there's no wall behind the goal. One wall behind one goal and seats behind another goal. That means first half, I'm not the shooter like I understand from just talking to people that played it like that. I wrote the hell out the bench. Whenever I tried to play basketball, I was starting baseball though. Free education. Now back to this though, but that's not easy to do. That probably contributes to why last year Bryce Griggs only scored 13 points in that same building when the lights were the same. Them were the same 100-watt bulbs beaming from the Raptors.
But the night before, that was the finals, wasn't it? To go.
That was the finals.
The night before he did well. It's just, it's just Jimmy. Marcus Sloan said something in case Stacey and Marcus Sloan, and I'm glad they're talking about stuff like this. Because Stacey said he knew in the fifth grade that how good. No, Jimmy, hold on. I know. Let me get you. But you got a different function than Stacey. But Marcus Sloan said something a few weeks back, and it went. It didn't. A few people kind of ruffled a little feathers a little bit. But he said Bryce Griggs is the best player in Houston, period. He just posted it on his Facebook. He just posted it on the Boom Boom Room again. And and then Stacey came back again, and I'm gonna let you talk about Stacey. I just had it on the screen. He just said that. Here it is. He said, "I knew back when he was in the 5th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade that he should be getting more love from you publicly. Respect to the work behind the scenes. Maybe your glasses were fogged up." That was Stacey said. So, it's up there on the screen. Your glasses were, so you're saying your glasses wasn't fogged. You had to watch. I'm gone. I'm gonna let you
remember when Bryce was in the 8th grade. Remember, I gave you that disclaimer.
Yeah, you told me. Yes, you told me.
So that wasn't. I purposely was not going to pay attention. That wasn't my obligation to pay attention to them as an 8th grader. And you asked me why live on the air.
Yeah.
Well, I said, now what was my answer?
No, you told me because I was talking about him, and you said, Robert, no, you don't. We shouldn't talk about a 7th grader, an 8th grader. And I said, when can I talk about it? You said
after you get through with the 8th grade,
and go to the 9th grade, right? So when he went into the 9th grade, hey, he been doing the same things to me. Jimmy, Bryce just matured, and people expect me to talk about it. Dog, I like Stacey, I know the work. Everybody put in work, but I know the focus this young man has, and the and the dedication that he puts into his craft. Somebody told me, Jimmy, that's the first time they ever saw him. I got a lot of friends that's first time they ever saw him play. You know what key that they said? He said, Robert, he never falls down. Did you notice that, Jimmy? They said, Robert, his core and his center of gravity is so impeccable, they never knock him down. He never falls down. This the guy, first time this guy, he said he came to see the game on Friday. He said he had to come back again on Saturday just to see is this kid, what it is with this kid. He said college players can't keep their feet like this. So those the little things that I've been knowing about him because his daddy didn't want him to fall. His daddy trained him not to fall. But those the things that I happen to know. And in all fairness to new people on the show, because people used to complain. You talk about Bryce Griggs, you talk about LJ Crowder. I have a relationship with these kids when they were younger. Bryce, I coached. Well, I didn't really coach. I sponsored the program that his brother, DJ Griggs, who was one of the #1 player in the country. So I've been knowing when Bryce was just a little boy just running on the court. I didn't know he was going to be this good. I'm going to just tell you. Stacey said he knew in the 5th grade. On my phone right now, Jimmy, I got every video that Bryce's dad had taped of him and sent to me still on my phone. So when he was younger, and it's just, yes, it's sentimental value there. Yes, Jeff Johnson, my tone going to come up a little bit. You notice Jimmy tone came up a little bit when you attacked him. When I see stuff like that, yes, my tone. Because y'all got to realize, Jimmy and I, we try to be professionals on this show, but we're human. We're human, just like y'all. I'm not gonna curse you out or nothing, but I'm a expressive guy. I'm gonna argue my point. So no disrespect to nobody. We can agree to disagree. I didn't get mad at you with your points. I just came back to you with mine. Jimmy just came back to Stacey with his. So Jimmy, now you can go and just say, look, that's not your role. See, a lot of people, Jimmy, I'm gonna help you out. A lot of people from outside the city, they just feel because they've been hearing about Bryce. They just saying about the local media. But Jimmy, you explained the other day, we don't have a media, an unbiased media in this city. You explained it. You said, dude, I got a scouting service and I'm an event operator. I don't have a media. We don't have a media in Houston that just said, I'm going to talk about all the kids and all the kids all the time. That's Channel 13, I guess, and Channel 11 in their responsibility. So how, and I explained, I said, where is it a guy in Houston that just talk about all the kids? He said, no, because there ain't no money in it from him, for him. And it made sense to me. It made sense to me, man. So, I know we got some special and everybody don't. Let me tell you something. Y'all remember a few weeks ago, I said, Jimmy, I said, we as people, black people, we got to get used to our neighbors being successful and you being okay with it. I said it. We got to get used to your son might be better than mine, Sonia. John Newsom, your son, it's a lot of kids were better than my son, Jimmy. You know, that I ain't never come at you talking about, man, he can't play. He can't play. He had 30 against. Come on, man. My son played against the Twins. Did I ever come and tell you that he was better than the Twins? No, I ain't crazy. Yes, it's a team game, Mindy Collins, but Mindy, in basketball, just look at all levels. The people that wins, when you got a star on your team that the other team fears. In the Lakers case, LeBron ain't crazy. LeBron said, hold up, I can't do this by myself. I'm not just finna go get me another. I got enough, what is his name? Contavious Caldwell-Popes. I got enough of, what's the boy from A&M? I got to go get Anthony Davis on my team. So, Jimmy, I didn't mean to go there, but sometimes we got to understand as people in this industry and people on this show and watch this show. Yes, Jimmy said something the other day that I never forget it, Jimmy, because you made me feel a whole lot better. You say you knew Sac Creek was a better team than Atascocita. But you said, look, I met the little girl from Atascocita. I like her. I'm cheering for Atascocita. Y'all, I got a relationship. Guess what? I got a relationship with Will Young. Of course I want him to do good. But guess what? I wanted Hightower to win. Yes, because I love Will. But guess what? I wanted Hightower to win. Because guess what? Now we got one of the top players in country as a 10th grader is taking his team. And let me tell you something. He got a team. He got a team. John Robinson. He got a team. Cameron Collins. He got a team. He got the two Chris's. I told him the two Chris's. You know, I mean, Markel James. He got, the team is so well put and they're well coached. Well coached by a great guy. So, yes, that's why I talk about Hightower all the time. I'm sorry. Jimmy, what else you got? You wanna comment on Casey or Stacey, or you done with Stacey? Oh, you done put yourself on mute over there, man.
Yeah, I put myself on mute. I was doing something else. I mean, I'm listening to you and talking. I mean, well said, well put. So that leave that right there. Now it goes over. Once again, Hightower faces Lancaster in the first round out of Dallas. It's the number one team in the state. They've been number one in the state all year. This team has been battle tested, and they are the favorite to win. Now, all I invite you guys to do, if along the same lines, and let's see those things, like I say, poke the bear. I invite DFW or even the H-Town people who still on the sour note, or even the John Uri. I invite you to I guess raise the bar up and dare Bryce to perform or claim that he's not going to show up, because it seems like every time that's happened, he has hurdled the critics. So that's all I can. Now, what happens is people are going to err on the side of caution on the side of error. And they're going to say, don't want to say nothing. We'll wait and see. No. Say, if you think that, understand the situation. He's going up against one guard who's already signed with TCU, Michael Myers, right? So this kid is going to the Big 12, and he's 2 grades ahead of Bryce. So based on that normal equation, if a Big 12 signee is playing against a 10th grader, then it's big. Let me tweak that equation. If a player who is ranked in the top 100 of his class as a senior is playing and he's signed with a Big 12 school, he goes up against a 10th grader who's ranked in the top 40 in the country. Who's supposed to win the individual battle? Supposed to, based on the equation. Not put this A plus B equals C. And I do with a C to the 3rd power or C 0.4. Normally, that kid is going to that's 2 grades higher, not the same grade, not 1 grade up, but 2 grades higher. He's supposed to contain. Because he's going to be, what is he going to expect to do at the Big 12 level when he gets in 6 months? What is Mike Myers going to be expected to do at TCU? What?
I don't know.
Defend.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So if you can't defend a 10th grader, I don't give a damn what his name is. If you can't defend him, then you're going to have your work cut out for you at the next level. Mind you, this 10th grade happened to be very exceptional. One of the 5 most exceptional guards that ever, as a 10th grader. That's the thing. Let's not try to compare Bryce with the completed body of work.
No, you got a lot of work to do.
That's what's been going on. Yeah. I'm not going to engage in that.
Jimmy, what's been going on, Jimmy? The young kid is performing. You might not engage, but other people look at when somebody performs. They just have to recognize that.
Is he better than TJ Ford? Is he better? No, you're thinking of.
Oh, I ain't heard none of that.
10th graders. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Okay.
Compare the 10th grader versus the other area 10th grade grades. So there's only a couple that comes to mind.
Give me the 2. Give me the couple that come to mind.
As 10th graders that were dynamic, that was this type of that performed this type. No, not necessarily mean they led their team to state, but they were performing. Tommy Mason Griffin was the last one.
Okay.
Now De'Aaron Fox performed well as a 10th grader, but it wasn't the same. I guess because they made it to the regional twice, Cy Lakes.
Okay.
And for the sake, if you want to throw De'Aaron Fox, you got to try your best to not look at it backwards. Look at us when De'Aaron Fox was in the 10th grade. He had just wrestled that mantle, and yes, De'Aaron had made it no question he was the best. But somebody got to be the best every year. But dynamically, because he dropped 52 points in that same Campbell Center as a 9th grader against Nimitz in a double overtime win. So we can just throw De'Aaron in as a mother. Just throw him in there. We get one. So, but other 10th graders as 10th grader, only in the 10th grade. We're not talking about one game.
I got you.
We're not talking about 2 games. Okay. We're talking about the whole season.
Okay, I got you.
Justice Winslow was that dynamic as his 10th grade year. Now, mind you, I don't give a damn how many games they did not have to win the SBC championship, but Justice Winslow won that thing in the 10th grade and was MVP.
Okay.
And was dynamic, giving Yates 40. Giving Yates 40.
I got
you. And under the bright lights at Barnett Fieldhouse. Justice Winslow, go back before him, it would be Tommy Mason Griffin. Okay. Dynamic in the 10th grade. Okay. Tommy was box office in the 10th grade.
What about Nick Wise?
No, I'm going backwards. How I haven't got before him.
Okay.
I'm coming from here going backwards.
Okay.
You follow me? I went De'Aaron Fox, Justice Winslow, Tommy Mason Griffin. Okay. Then before him, Nick Wise would be the next sophomore because Kingwood went there 3 times, rode 2 times with Nick Wise. Nick Wise was box office.
Okay.
He ran the show.
Okay. Okay.
Nick Wise, I'm saying,
Okay.
that don't mean who's a better player. That don't mean who's going to be a
No.
projected pro. We talking about as a 10th
That
grader.
had this kind of impact.
Dynamic.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
What did Sloan do in the 10th grade? No, I'm sorry.
Now, before Nick Wise, Daniel Gibson was the one before him. Daniel Gibson in the 10th grade. He gave T.J. Ford and Daniel Ewing and Kenny Taylor and all of them. Sloan, them was your teammates, but it was your summer teammates. But at Willow Ridge High School, Daniel Gibson gave them, I think, a 30 piece?
Daniel Gibson gave who?
In the 10th grade.
Gave who? T.J. Ford and them? That work?
Hell, it might have been the 9th grade. Daniel came out in 04. Hell, that might have been the 9th grade when he played T.J. them. T.J. came out in 01. Yeah, that was the 9th grade. Daniel gave them dudes like 25, 30. You guys know what I'm talking about that? So
hey, save some time now. We got to talk about Tramon Mark now, but keep going.
So just thinking back to territory. So right now, Bryce Griggs has earned a spot at that table amongst those 10th graders of the past 20 years. We just stopped because T.J. Ford was not in the 10th grade. He was not there in the 10th grade.
Okay.
He was there, but for the scholastic. His legend was in 11th and the 12th, and that summer it escalated because of what they did with Houston Superstars with John Urie over the summers. It helped justify the means because those guys got invited by Willow Ridge to the old slam dunk to the beach in Delaware. That was the premier tournament that you got invited to in the holidays. But so that's the thing.
And Jimmy, I want you to, when you touch on Tramon Mark, I want you to save something. Because somebody just asked, Mr. Hicks, do you have any insight on what happened to the Lady Creek, your young Lady Creeks? I know it was a problem, a suspension. I mean, you might know about it already, but let's hit on Tramon Marks because let's go
to Dickinson.
Yeah,
and we'll close with that. I'll explain to you guys about the girls' state championships or the state tournament. And that was some hell of a drama that took place up there. But first, Dickinson won the Class 6A championship.
Yes.
Shout out to Dickinson, Coach Jason Wilson. Mm-hmm. He got it done. There were many people that were doubters. Remember, we talked about this last week. Mm-hmm. I saw parents going at this coach just as recent as 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And after a win, not after a loss, after a win. Going after the coach, not going after him physically, but having have court after on the court. Tramon Mark did something, guys, that I've been checking, and I have the results on all in because I normally check certain traps from old school guys, and I've checked around, and nobody can tell me that this has been ever done before. Mm. There's never been a player that scored 40 points in both regional tournament games in this region in the history of Houston basketball. I've checked with some people over the weekend, and they would have said it if they knew one. It's like, and they went back and they called back and said, don't anybody yet? No, I ain't. Still thinking, Hicks. Damn, you got a good one right there. Tramon Mark scored 40 against L.J. Cryer. Mm-hmm. So that means no matter what happens, his last game of his high school career, here's me and L.J. Cryer, you cannot ignore that Tramon ended your high school career just as Kendrick Davis ended De'Aaron Fox's high school career. That don't have no bearing on what you're going to be for the rest of your life, whether you're going to make the league or not. But the high school level, Tramon Mark, this game was meaningful because this is not the first time Tramon has scored a 40 ball. You know, or somebody in this matchup has produced.
A young cat.
Every time they played, there's been a guy, and almost like they traded whooping each other's butt.
Yeah.
The teams and or the individual matchup.
Yeah.
But you're gonna remember the one that's last is the one that lingers.
Yes, sir.
And Tramon Mark in this game, of course, 40 points. Then going to the championship, they played Bel Air. He has 41 against Bel Air. Once again, in high school basketball history.
Mm-hmm.
Private schools and the public schools from within Greater Houston. From my understanding, I'm challenging you guys to go and find one. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That won the regional tournament. Went to state.
And went to state.
And the player scored 40 or more in both of those games. That's the thing. You won the regional. Because that means now, I know what they call them, empty calories, not empty bags.
I call them empty buckets, Kim.
So that won and scored 40 and 2 W's. There's never happened before. Now, who knows? Tramon Mark, know what it's saying with him?
What?
Tramon Mark has gotten better and better and better.
Did he get better? He went better 2 months ago. What you just said about it? Did Bryce get better in 2 months?
No. Bryce didn't get better in 2 months. Bryce was already that good. That was the point of saying that. He was already that good. Just that you have to. That means why some people go watch them, as you used to say a lot of times.
Yeah.
You want to see them with your own eyes.
You're right.
So some people go now to the egg just hatched for some folk.
Gotcha.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that, understand, it's kind of like you guys watching, somehow you guys watch and you might think certain things, and it just goes to show, what's reality, what's evident. I don't know you, and even though you watching me every day and listen to me every other day talking, you don't know me.
That's a good point. Great point.
So you don't know, just because you see me and I don't talk to certain people in the gym, there's people in that gym that don't talk, I don't say nothing to. And know what we're doing? Meet me at the spot. We're going to get some drinks. We're going over here after the game. Am I lying, Adam?
Yep.
You know that. People, I don't even talk in the gym. They're going to show up at the place.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You're like, well, damn, he won't even talk to him.
Yeah. That's great. You're right.
Damn, why Jimmy don't sit next to Big Doug? I got to sit back next to Big Doug to what? What you mean?
You don't sit next to me either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We go to him, man, Hal sit on there. You know, Jimmy sit on there. You don't know me.
That's a good point. I ain't never think about that.
What you think about it, and the peg that you tried to maybe push or force people into may not be the right size. I'm not purposely trying to be different. It's just that when I'm working and I'm trying to pay attention, that's why I tell you guys to pay attention. It's very hard to get, if you're really, really trying to evaluate more things than just one player, it's hard to do it if you're talking the whole game. It's hard to do it if you're sitting on the wall talking 3-4 guys like people gonna be doing, and they come in the game. It's not saying they should not do it. I do it a lot. Right. That means I'm coming in to see one thing. I'm coming to see one thing. I can stay on the wall and talk to you guys or go and lollygag because I know what I'm coming to see. I'll live through other stuff later on. I'm coming to see one thing, maybe 2. But if I'm coming there and I'm trying to see 4 or 5 different things, I can't be. Leave me alone. I'm working. I'm in my box. I'm in my zone. And that's the thing. And Clarence say Jimmy always by himself, always with his head down. My head down because I'm working. A lot of times I'm texting the stuff to my notes. I learned that from Reggie Rankin. So a lot of guys you might not know. I put that little gray screen on my phone where you can't really see me next. And sometimes my notes, I'm in my notepad on my cell phone.
I'm always in my notepad.
So, and a lot of times you see me recent time, I want to get the old school feel. I got some room and I'm going to sit down and I might bring one of my pads out and take physical notes on paper. Well, so that's how it goes.
Don't forget to talk about.
I'm not through with Dickinson.
Okay, keep on.
Understand. First of all, Dickinson is representing the 6A championship, and this is the team that I said long ago on the television show on High School Sports Zone. I've mentioned it. And I've been doing this all season.
Yeah.
See, think about that.
Yeah.
So guess what happens if Dickinson gets their ass whooped? Do you understand how many emails I would have gotten in this city and how many text messages and then people have been mimicking and frolic and messing with me? Think about it. That's what happens when you see. I done got so many right that when I get another one right, people ain't studying about how they're not keeping score by how many I get right. You're trying to keep score by how many I get wrong. Think about that. Think about that. Eventually, you're going to be judged in this business of how many you get wrong, not how many you get right. So that means if you don't want to get them wrong, a lot of people be scared to go out there on the plank to get them wrong because their percentages ain't that good. I done got a whole lot of them right in this city, guys. Got a whole lot of them right. So therefore, and you know, in this situation, I went out there and I said Dickinson was the team that I would feel the most comfortable with, that have the greater odds of beating Duncanville.
Yep, I heard that.
If those two teams match up, I'm still feeling that way. Duncanville is great. But Dickinson is very good. So Duncanville have proven, they've had 2 overtime games in the last month. So Duncanville has proven to you guys, to the community, to the public, that guess what? They can be less than great. Let them play one of those overtime games that just play that type of style and whatever got them into that trouble to be in a situation where the game was that close. Let them play that game. That game might have been their C game. That might have been the C- game. Let them bring that game against Dickinson. You just like I'm joking. Watch what happened. Remember, guys. Don't you guys remember a couple of years ago when Plano West they were the Duncanville that year. They were the clear-cut favorite in the state. DJ Hogue and the big fellow that went to Texas.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were. It wasn't nothing close. And guess what they played in the championship? Little old team from Houston named Clear Lake. People say ain't no way in the hell Clear Lake had a chance with these guys. Clear Lake was winning the game. Closing seconds, DJ Hogue had to hit a 3 for the win.
That's right. I remember that.
So yeah, they won, but that loss was like a win for Clear Lake, because it was a win to go and say, well, look what David can sometimes, guess what? You keep throwing enough rocks, you're gonna hit Goliath right upside the head. Just keep on chunking rocks. In this situation, I wouldn't necessarily call it David and Goliath with Dickinson and a Duncanville situation, but if they meet, man, understand what you have going on. You have Michael Peavy, who's going to Texas Tech. Who's ranked in the top 35 in the country, top 30 or whatever. Tremont Mark is ranked down in the 70s or something like that. But Tremont Mark and Michael Peavy, talent-wise, they are not. You understand, 40 spots in the rankings are different in the country, but they're not that different.
No.
They're very equal.
No.
Very equal. If you go and you try to claim that Tremont is way better than PJ, Michael Peavy, or Michael Peavy is that much better than come on, that's your heart talking. What they can bring to the table is very equal.
That's a matchup. Jimmy, I'm gonna tell you the matchup I want to see.
What?
But little dude Deuce Guidry against their little guy. They got a little guy for Duncanville with all the hair.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, Stacy. You know his name. That's a matchup, Jimmy, that's going to be the catalyst to the game. So I know you got, to me, that little matchup right there going to be a catalyst. I ain't going to say it's going to be a spark to the game. Marcus Williams. Who was the rival?
Damon Nicholas.
Okay.
That's the kid who came to the Southwest Exposure Camp, remember? The young guard, Damon, he's a junior.
Okay.
So that means if Michael Peavy and Tremont cancel out, so now the advantage, Damon Nichols, if Damon Nichols and Marcus Williams head to head, Marcus Williams going to Northern Colorado is expected to outplay Damon Nichols.
Why? Because he's younger?
Because he's younger, because he's younger, number one, and because Marcus Williams has been doing. Remember now, Marcus Williams, MVP of the Allen tournament. Dickinson went to the Allen tournament over the Christmas holidays, and Marcus was
They won that tournament up there?
That was in Allen.
They won that tournament, didn't they?
Yes, they won. They beat Allen in the championship.
Team pretty good, baby.
So they won high stakes games on the road. Once again, these guys, if Dickinson, obviously they have to bring their A game. That means one of those games where Tremont and Marcus Williams would both have to produce a 30. They have to combine. Both of them would have to combine for 61 points.
Okay.
That means one can score 30, the other can go 29, 32. They have to combine for that just to have a chance.
Hey.
Michael Peavy don't have to score 30 because they'll get it back on intangibles. He doesn't have to score that many points. Tremont do for this Dickinson team. That's the difference. So once again, that's going to be a dynamic if we can get to that point because of course.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's right. That's right.
They got semifinal game.
That's right.
Dickinson plays Willie.
Okay. That's all right. Willie.
They 32-7. They won the Region 2. They beat the Killeen team who beat Westfield. Right?
Okay.
And Duncanville plays the San Antonio local team, Brandeis, and they're gonna have a home crowd. They've only lost 3 games, but Duncanville is expected to walk past them, and Dixon is expected to walk past Wiley. And then it's Saturday at 8:30, Saturday night. These two teams can get it on. But guess what? We thought the same thing back in 2001 when Willow Ridge was there waiting on Bracy Wright and Darren Williams in the Colony. And they went up against Bryan High School with Darryl Mason, who's the head coach at Conroe right now. And Darryl Mason sent Bracy Wright them home. It's the reason why upsets are called upsets. Remember that now, guys. So I'm just hoping that this weekend can provide a memory that can go and stick in our minds for years to come. One of the questions we got earlier,
Don't
of course.
Now about the Cy Creek girls, they had a.
What? Yeah, I was saying we got a question somebody just asked earlier about the Cy Creek. Duncanville girls beat Cy Creek to claim the Class 6A championship. In the process of doing so on that weekend, prior to playing the semifinal game, one of the star point guard for Cy Creek had been sent home. She was sent home, right? And that sent that word circulated and got back to Houston. I think Rory Harmon is the young lady's name. And so Rory is an 11th grader, and she was sent home for violating team rules. Well, according to the reports, because people only but 2 or 3 things they can send you home for. And that one would be drugs, one would be theft. Of course but the rumors are circulating, and according to many of the because I'm about to tell you, you can't conceal that stuff. They couldn't think about this. Nobody wanted the concealing of North Shore Zach Evans. He went to the state championship game of football and got sent home. And before you can get back to Houston, everybody kind of knew, because guess what? Because they had to put it out there to brush out the fryer. In this situation, people had to put it out there because some people are bitter. Because some people say, well, they could have waited and turned the other cheek. They could have just waited and punished her when she got home. Well, I'm not in a position to make that call. Right. But if you stand firm, and if you're a district, Cypress ISD, that's been firm on those type of situations, and disciplining your student athletes, even in the high, and while they representing your district out of town on field trips, on non-scholastic activities, then guess what? If you've been firm on it, then it's fair. If you know another person that didn't get sent home, they got caught stealing or did whatever they did, then they didn't let them send them home, then that may be a problem. But you remember, we had Cypress ISD has been firm. Just 2 years ago, we had a young lady on the chop shop. Remember, her daughter was going to sit up there, some stuff out there in Cypress had her, and she came on the chop shop about her daughter, and they tried to kick her out of school because of something. What was the situation? Her hair?
I forgot.
It was something.
But it's, you know what, Jimmy, whatever it is, that young lady and her family has to deal with it. And I didn't know it was that bad. I thought it was just discipline problems. I mean, I didn't know she didn't play at all. See, that's why I didn't know.
She didn't play Friday or
I
Saturday.
didn't know that, and I hate to see that because I picked them. I picked them to win. So it's an unfortunate incident, and I hope the young lady gets help with what happened. I really don't even. I don't want to talk about it. If I even find out, I wouldn't talk about it over here because, especially when it's a young lady. Men, I'm a little harder on men, but my women, I'm gonna protect them. And but bless her little heart. It breaks my heart because Kendall Hunter and this young lady, they work so hard to get there, and some Jimmy. And what I'm thinking about now, it must be a problem. Because guess what? On an important stage like this, whatever it is, it happens. Like Zach Evans, you remember I said it's a problem there, and let's as a community, let's get to the problem before it's too late. Let's get to the problem. If she'll do it in high school, it's a great chance she'll do it in college, Jimmy. You follow me? So I don't know her. I don't know Trey Phillips. I know, and all the people out there, April Daniels, the people, let's reach out. Me personally, I don't want to know the dirt. I want to get the young girl some help. So if there's anything I can do, just let me know, and we'll make I'll reach out to him. So she's a young girl, 11th grade. Robert Hatter and Jim Hicks, we're not going to run her name, and because the only thing you got is your name. That's the only thing, ladies and gentlemen, you can carry from this realm to the next. Your name. So I don't never want to tarnish nobody's name. So that's it. What else you got, Jim?
Understand something. Mm-hmm. Once again, when Zach Evans, and it's kind of reverbing back there, mm-hmm. When Zach Evans, and sorry guys, we didn't open the lines for you guys.
Yeah, we'll do them tomorrow.
We'll open up tomorrow the phone lines for you guys. Yeah. But when Zach Evans got sent home, we mentioned and we talked about Zach Evans.
I know.
That's what I'm saying by being consistent.
I know.
We can't go and say. Remember,
there's a lot of things I won't do for a man that I'll do for a woman. That's just me and my protective nature over a woman. That's just me. I mean, now you can't. My protective nature over a woman, because women, you got to understand, Jimmy, women carry the seeds. Women carry the womb for our next generation. So I'm going to always protect them. That's just me. And I'll take the hit from being a host that won't talk about it. You can talk about it.
Well, I'm definitely going to talk. I'm going to talk about it all day. But at the same time, remember, I don't have a dog in the fight regarding that, and I don't have a daughter in regard to a biological daughter. So I don't have a mama. I don't have a grandmama.
But you got a sister.
Side. So therefore,
you got sisters. You got sisters.
I got sisters, but I don't. Hey, that's them.
Okay.
I talk about them if they get in trouble.
Okay.
When my ass got in trouble, they said about me, Jimmy gone, y'all. He shouldn't have been out there doing that. That come with it. But back to the young lady, it's you understand the allegation, because guess what? My belief, like I said, is different, is that no matter what, in the young people, they're gonna make mistakes. Teenagers, they're gonna get goofy, but at the same time, when the stakes are higher for some than they are others. And if you sometimes, in some cases, if you ignore it, then the lesson may not be learned, may not. So that's all I'm just saying. That way,
it don't have to be played out in the press. I don't think that. I know them parents ain't ignoring it. I know somebody ain't ignoring it.
That embarrassment.
Oh, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Out of your soul.
Yes.
The embarrassment.
It hurt
because
me.
It means everywhere she goes, the only thing that's good and that saved her this year is the fact that spring break.
She ain't got to go to school.
It's this week.
Right.
And this is the first year in a long time that spring break for the girls' basketball season is the week after. It's normally for girls the week of spring break. So she don't have to go to school this week. And then when she come back, she may have to, the good thing about it, she may have to finish up the next month or so at an alternative school. Every district have one. Maybe.
I hope it's not that bad. And I know, and
Had
thank
maybe
you,
they
Trey.
could, you get, you know.
Her parents are on her behind. Whatever she did, I just want her to get help, because I know if this practice is going on in high school, whatever it is, it could be boys, it could be whatever. Let me tell you something, man. That, you know, I always tell, I used to tell my young athletes, Jimmy, it's 3 things can get to an athlete: drugs, alcohol, and women. In this case, drugs, alcohol, and boys. So
you ain't saying it right. How did they? Remember the Fifth Ward boys made a song about that back in the day.
well, see, I don't listen to rap, Jimmy. If you ain't Jay-Z, Young Jeezy.
No, know the name of the song?
What's
They called it PWA.
What's that? Oh, man, I'm not gonna say that mess on
Play
here.
that song right now. Pull that up on the
No,
thing.
I got Mindy Collins on here. I can't say that kind of stuff. I got the first lady on there. But no, but I'm gonna pray for her. Thank y'all. I'm glad somebody brought that up. And I didn't know she didn't play in both games. But hey, Rory, I'm with you. You're in my prayers. Take care of whatever you need to take care of. Let's get this thing back on the right track. All right? Okay. What you got? I'm going to go find that song, Jimmy, as soon as I get off. What you said? PWA with your nasty self. I'm going to tell your wife on you.
Pickles.
Oh, I got this. I think I know what that is. Okay. All right.
Pickles, wieners, and apples.
Yeah. Jimmy, I'm weird. My kids always tell me, y'all, Daddy, you don't like my 3 rap. Jimmy, I'm serious. Jay-Z, Jay-Z, Yo Gotti, and Jeezy. I don't like nobody else but them 3. And they all together different, but them my 3 guys. But Jimmy, let's get out of here on this one. Let's get out of here. But hey, y'all, we got a big day tomorrow because we got a lot of stuff that we didn't cover today. So
yeah, man, a whole lot.
But
and
thank you so much, everybody. I mean, I really appreciate the YouTube is booming. Facebook is they just off the chain. So Jimmy, wrap this thing up, baby.
Yeah, and then also, guys, we're gonna send you guys out with a bang. We have something to queue up for you. How we ready to go out?
Hold on.
Queue up something for you guys.
Hold on.
Hold tight before you leave. We got something to show you.
Where it go? Hold on, Jimmy.
There you go. Where you going?
Here it is.
Up out of there.
Ain't nothing but a gangsta party.
Light that up, Snoop. Why you acting like that?
Nothing like this in the country. Preach it all along.
You done put 2 of America's most wanted in the same place at the same
Ain't nothing but a gangsta party.
Yeah, hey, they can't see us dancing, Jimmy. Hey, y'all, I put us in the screen, Jimmy. We spinning the screen. Hey, y'all tell Rick Nelson I just put it out there for us. That's how we gonna end the show. Here we go, Jimmy.
Baby, spring icebreaker, man. Let me get back in there. I gotta finish on this schedule. And of course, schedule will be released this Saturday for the spring icebreaker. And that means I only got 4 days, but boy, it's a lot of work. I've never done nothing this hard in my life. But let me go in and I'm up for the task. Hopefully everything will go. 28 courts now, Adam.
28 courts. How many was at first?
It was 24, then it was 26, now it's 28.
Jimmy, look who we got. We about to go off the show, and the legend that showed up on the show. Keenan McCardell that showed up on the show. And then we about to go off.
Wall Trip High School in the house.
Yes.
Wall Trip High School up in the house. That's what I'm talking. We used to beat up on Wall Trip like they stole something. Beat Wall Trip. Talking about the Rams. I'm surprised that Wall Trip ain't changed their mascot the way Cashmere beat up on them back in the day. Yeah. And because Cashmere changed their mascot.
I didn't mean to crank you up, man. You know I got to go.
They did. It used to be the Rams, Hal. Now they know they're the Mighty Rams. Because it let people know there's a difference between a regular Ram and a mighty rant. Peace out to Keenan Cardell. Thank you guys for tuning to the Chop Shop. See you guys in 22 hours. It's time to slide on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. On to have Robert Haller, Jim Hicks. We up out here, baby. Chop Shop.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live.